beautiful people, tribe of many colors. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I'm happy to see you, right? We're about to get into this book that I talked about last time. I'm excited. I don't remember half of what I read in this book, so it's like I'm going to be rereading it with you, okay? So I'm excited. The energies is lining up. Everything is saying go, 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 and I love creating when the energy's like that, when the energy's just like green light, green light, green light, green light. I'm like, yes, I love those days. All right, hope you're doing well. Hope you're taking care of yourself, right? I want to start off by pulling a card from this deck, okay? My sister got me this, and man, I was happy when she did. This is African Goddess Rising Oracle by Abiola Abrams. She's got a cool website too if you check it out. I don't know her, never talked to her, but I love good stuff. And when I love good stuff, I share that with you. Alright, so what I want to do before we even start reading, let's pull a card. I'm gonna tell you something about this deck. When my sister first got me this deck and I pulled a card from it, I pulled an ancestor. The ancestor I pulled was Nana Buruku. I've also seen the spelling Buluku. And when I tell you this ancestor came in powerful off of these cards, I felt the energy strong. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do, this channeling off of this ancestor. And I'm trying to put it together my way. And I sit down and I got all my thoughts. And my mind just went blank. And I'm like, what the hell? I had everything ready. I'm like, how am I going to know what to say, about this beautiful being that I kind of connected with through these cards? And I heard the voice of my ancestor clear as day. And she said, you will not have to think about what to say, because when I speak to you, you will translate it exactly as I say it. And I was like, oh, snap. I felt like, when you get checked, if you've ever gotten checked by an older person, an adult, an ancestor, somebody you have a lot of respect for it, and it feels like you just sit down in yourself and you just get humbled. That's what her energy came through as. She's like, you're not going to speak for me. I am going to speak through you. I was like, woo. And guess what? I ain't touched these cards since. I ain't picked them up since. And I've tried so many times to make that video about the connection with this ancestor, and it's just, nope. I got a little bit more humbling to do. So I'm going to sit down and learn and just let the energy flow with me where it wants to go. And let's see what card wants to come in before we start. I don't even know what it says yet. I haven't looked. Let's see. It says Mojaji, manifestation. I like it. Manifestation. That's a great way to start. I'm excited already. I'm excited. Okay, let me get this back in this box. And let's read up on number 9, Mojaji. Let's see what it says. Comes with this little booklet, and it gives you all the information about it when you want to read it. Okay, it says, Goddess of Manifestation, Balobedu, South Africa. The temple, the conjurers, and the element is water. Conjuring and manifestation is the same thing. Goddess Mojaji is the hereditary reign queen of South Africa's Balobedu people, a matrilineal queendom. Mojaji's daughter danced to the frequency of rain. Mojaji's guidance says, showers of blessings are yours. You are a rainmaker, master manifester, shapeshifter, alchemist, and sorceress. Open your hands and heart. Ooh, I like it already. The embodiment says, yes, make it rain. You are manifesting big. This has been a long time coming. You are co-creating with spirit. Match the energetic frequency, the assay of your desire. You are magnetic, and like attracts like. Raise your vibration to align with the sacred. Close your eyes and see your blessings. Feel them in your bones. Ask, believe, act, allow, and receive. And her declaration says, divine blessings flow to me so easily. Oh man, I like that. Thank you, Candy, my sister, for getting me this. I love it. These are some powerful cards. And I don't mess with them until I'm ready. That's why I haven't touched them in so long. But, all right. I'm excited to get started on this book. I got a notepad. I got a pencil. Okay. Because I'm excited to see where it goes. How things unfold as we shine some light into the dark spaces of consciousness. All right. Let's see where we're going to start. There's a long intro that comes with this book. I tried to make a video a couple times reading this intro, but it was just so wordy and so long and so exhausting, and I didn't think that it really lent anything to diving into the book. You don't miss anything. So when you buy the book, if you want to read that intro, you can, but to me it didn't add or take away from what we're going to talk about. But it does lay out how the book opens, and I think I'll read that part. Okay. It says, this opening part is the largest single section of this book and deals with symbols from all over the world. They are generally an inherent part of culture with religious or spiritual meaning, encompassing Christianity, Judaism, Islam, modern religious practices such as Jainism and Scientology, diverse ancient and modern pagan beliefs, as well as magical and esoteric practices. Objects with a symbolic meaning are also included. We've tried to present a really comprehensive range of symbols given the confines of the space available. Underscoring the diversity of these images is a fervent hope that their explanations will add to our greater understanding of each other, while allowing the symbols themselves to retain their inherent mystical aura. This isn't difficult, since symbolism is a slippery subject. Most of our primal symbols come from a time prior to verbal communication as we know it today, and most certainly predate the written word, which itself obliterates much of the need for diagrammic symbols. Apart from the very modern signs, whose living inventors can explain their meaning, for the most part these pictorial metaphors must remain open to conjecture. Enigma is, after all, an important characteristic of a mystical or magical symbol. All we can do here is offer possibilities, based on our existing knowledge, with a sprinkling of intuition and deductive reasoning thrown in for good measure. It is important to bear in mind that symbols are not static objects, but continue to develop, adding to their range of interpretations. Therefore, there can be no absolutely definitive interpretation of any symbol. Symbols keep evolving, so there's no way you can lock down what it means. Everything evolves. So I like that line. There's no absolute definitive interpretation of any symbol. The most logical way to understand a symbol is simply to observe it. See what it looks like, listen to what it says, This involves a deal of impartiality, and it is essential to be aware of any preconceptions so that we can remove them. An obvious example is the swastika, made sinister after its appropriation by the Nazi regime. All right, here we go. Put that right there. Okay. However, compare the swastika to this drawing of the sun by a 6-year-old. They are very similar. The swastika is a very ancient sun symbol, possibly dating back to the Paleolithic times. If the symbol hadn't already enjoyed such a primal place in our collective consciousness, then it would never have had such a powerful impact. In the same way that the same word can mean different things to different people, the meaning of symbols are not always straightforward either. The inverted cross to a practicing Catholic is a reminder of St. Peter, who elected to be crucified on a cross of this type. To others, it is a popular emblem of Satanism, a religious cult that likes to use inversions and reversals. Therefore, the context in which a symbol is set is of paramount importance. When you dip into this section, try to look at the symbol first and see what it tells you before you read the interpretation. So what I'm going to try to do as I read is I'm going to probably put the photo up so you guys can see it before I even read what it's about. The book doesn't have a picture of everything it talks about, so I'm going to try to find it and add it to the video so you guys can see if you don't have the book. Okay. First signs, the basic shapes of symbols. There are certain elemental structures that occur repeatedly, not only as component parts of more elaborate symbols, but also with rich meanings of their own. In fact, it's probably true to say that the simpler the symbol, the more scope there is for interpretation. Ergo, the more meaningful it is, and paradoxically, the more complex it becomes. These primary shapes transcend barriers of time, geography, and cultural context, part of a universal language that goes before and beyond words. Don't be fooled into thinking that these basic shapes are as self-explanatory as to need no analysis. A true understanding of what they represent can only add to the comprehension of the more elaborate shapes and symbols that follow in this section. Space. The element of a symbol are defined only by the space that is part of its construction. Like the wind, the effect of space is gauged by its effect on the things within it or surrounding it. The concept of space, the void, is a profound part of our experience. To reach a state of emptiness is for many the ultimate spiritual experience and a way of connecting to the absolute. When John Lennon wrote Imagine, whose lyrics gradually strip away the trappings of the material world, it was this idea that inspired him. To be aware of the possibility of space within a flat, two-dimensional representation is to give that shape substance and a new kind of reality that lifts it off the page and makes it real. Space is not flat and cannot be confined by lines on a piece of paper. The page and the shape on it do not exist in isolation, but are part of a greater cosmos. This book and you, the reader, are a part of this equation. The concept of zero is a space. Indeed, the realization that nothing can be something marked a profound leap forward in man's development. All creation myths begin with a void, symbolic of potential. Although attempts to explain the concept of space are inevitably faulty, it might help to think of a blank page. Before a mark is made upon the paper, the potential for what might appear there is so vast as to be unimaginable. A consideration which causes consternation for some artists and writers. Without this space, there is no arena for anything else to exist. This absence of anything means that no thing is the most important symbol in the world. I like that. Nothing is the most important thing, because from there you can create anything you want. That's good. So, lose your preconceptions about the symbols, what you think they mean, because that's what you've been given as a program, right? Probably all the symbols we're about to see that is recognizable to you, someone has already told you what it means. So we want to lose that part, right? Stick a pin in that part of your consciousness. And now open your mind to the fact that if this symbol, even though you think you know what it means, it can show you something more, something deeper, something truthful for you, right? So the first thing they're going to start with is the dot. That's the first thing we're going to start with over here. All right. It says a dot might seem to be an unassuming little thing, the first mark on the pristine sheet of paper. In this case, the dot is the beginning. But see what just happened there? The dot, an essential component in the structure of the sentence, closed it, making it a symbol of ending. Therefore, the dot is both an origination and a conclusion, because you have to start and end with a dot. You use a dot at the end of a sentence to complete it, but before you even write anything on the page, the first touch of the pencil or the pen or the ink was a dot. Message. Okay. Therefore, the dot is both an origination and a conclusion, encompassing all the possibilities of the universe within it. A seed full of potential and a symbol of the Supreme Being. The dot is the point of creation. For example, the place where the arms of the cross intersect. The dot is also the bindi, which means drop. The bindu is a symbol of the absolute, marked on the forehead at the position of the third eye, in the place believed to be the seat of the soul. The presence of dots within a symbol can signify the presence of something else. A dot in the center of the Star of David marks the quintessence or fifth element. It also acts as a reminder of the concept of space. Take a look at these two symbols. Do you notice any similarities? The decorated dots that surround the doorways of Eastern temples are not merely ornamental devices, but have significance relevant to the worshippers. Dots frequently appear in this way, acting as a sort of shorthand for the tenets of faith. In the Jain symbol, for example, the dots stand for the 3 jewels of Jainism. The dots in each half of the yin-yang symbol unify the 2 halves. One is the yin, the other yang. Together they demonstrate the interdependence of opposing forces. All right, and the next thing we're going to move into is the circle. The next logical, magical symbol is the circle, effectively an expansion of the dot. The circle represents the spirit and the cosmos. Furthermore, the circle itself is constructed from something, the unbroken line, and nothing, the space inside and outside this line. Therefore, the circle unifies spirit and matter. The structure itself has great strength. Think of the cylindrical shape of a lighthouse, built that way in order to withstand the fiercest attack of a stormy sea. The physical and spiritual strength of this symbol are there because the perfect circle has no beginning and no end. It is unassailable. This power is the reason why the circle is used in magical practices such as spellcasting. The magic circle creates a fortress of psychic protection, a physical and safe haven where unwanted or uninvited entities cannot enter. Hermes Trismegistus said of the circle, God is a circle whose center is everywhere and circumference is nowhere. God is a circle whose center is everywhere and circumference is nowhere. So it's never ending. If you can imagine that in your mind, that's something that has no ending. I like that. Where would ancient man have seen the most important circles? Obviously in the sun and the moon. As the sun, the circle is masculine, but when it is the moon, it is feminine. Because the passage of time is marked by the journey of the sun, moon, and stars in orbit around our earth, the circle is a symbol of the passage of time. In this form, it commonly appears as the wheel. And that would explain why they also make watches with a circular face. Because the circle has no divisions and no sides, it is also a symbol of equality. King Arthur's round table was the perfect piece of furniture for the fellowship of knights, who were each as important as each other. Similarly, the Dalai Lama has a circular council. Interesting. All right, so the next piece is gonna be the arc. Perhaps the most prominent arc of the natural world appears in the elusive form of the rainbow, which primitive man sees as a bridge between the heavens and the earth. As a part of a circle, the arc symbolizes potential spirit. The position of the arc is important. Upright, shaped like a cup or chalice, it implies the feminine principle, something that can contain the spirit. If the arc is inverted, then the opposite is true and it becomes a triumphal, victorious masculine symbol. As such, the arc can take the form of an archway, the vaulted or arched shape of many holy buildings. From a great variety of different faiths, represents the vaults of the heavens. The arc shape often appears in planetary symbols. Okay, next one we're going to do, the vertical line. Man alone in the animal kingdom stands upright. So the vertical line represents the physical symbol of the number one. Man striving toward spirit. This simple line is the basic shape of the world tree or axis mundi that connects the heavens, the earth, and the lower regions. It is not only a basic phallic symbol, but also signifies the soul that strives for union with the divine. The upright line tells us where we are at a precise moment. Think of the big hand of the clock, vertically oriented at 12. All right, next we go into the horizontal line. The opposite of the vertical line, the horizontal line represents matter and the forward and backward movement of time. This line also signifies the skyline or horizon and man's place on the earth. So the straight line going up represents man striving towards spirit. And then the horizontal line is matter. So the spirit of man is crossed with matter. Makes sense to me? Next, we go into the cross. Here, the vertical and horizontal lines come together to create a new symbol, the cross. There are, of course, countless different types of cross, a few of which are covered in this section of the book. Despite any embellishments or devices, however, the basic meaning of the cross stays the same. The earliest example of the cross comes from Crete and dates back to the 15th century BC, although it is much older than this, ancient beyond proper reckoning. It is an incredibly versatile and useful sign with many interpretations. As the convergence of the vertical and horizontal line, it symbolizes the union of the material and the spirit. Think of the sign of the cross given by Catholic priests. As a geometric tool, it has no equal. If you put the cross inside the circle, then you are able to divide the circle equally. Similarly, the cross is said to give birth to the square because of its 4 cardinal points. The cross represents the elements and the directions. In the West, the cross equates with the number 4, but in China, it is associated with the number 5. Since the dot in the middle of the cross, where the 2 arms intersect, is also included. The cross is sometimes disguised as another symbol, such as a 4-petaled flower. All over the world, the cross is a symbol of protection. All right. Let me see how much is left. Okay, I think I can go some more. How long out? Okay, 30, okay. Next, we're gonna go into the square. So I think I'm gonna read the square and the next is a lozenge. I think I'm gonna stop there. Try to keep these videos short since I'm gonna, jazz them up a little bit. Square. Said to be the first shape invented by man, the square represents the created universe as opposed to the spiritual dimensions depicted by the circle. The square represents the earth and the 4 elements. Plato described the square, like the circle, as being absolutely beautiful in itself. Like the cross, the square is associated with the number 4. A square has 4 corners. To speak of the 4 corners of the earth is something of an anomaly, since the earth is round without corners. All the symbolism of the number 4 is encompassed within the square, and it is interesting to note that just as the square represents the created universe, in the Hebrew faith, the holy name of the Creator is comprised of 4 letters. The square gives man a safe, static reference point and a stable, unmoving shape, as opposed to the continual motion of the circle. Temples and holy buildings are often built in the form of a square, solidly designed to align with the 4 points of the compass. The Kaaba at Mecca is a fine example, as is the base of the Buddhist stupa. Altars too are square. Square shapes define limits and create boundaries. To speak of someone as being square means that they are fixed and unchangeable. All right, the last one I'm going to hit up for today is lozenge. A diamond shape, often without rounded rather than pointed ends. The lozenge is often overlooked, but is actually a representation of the female genitalia. As such, its most popular appearance is probably as the Vesica Pisces, the sacred doorway through which spirit enters the world of matter. In heraldry, the lozenge is used in place of the masculine shield to denote a coat of arms belonging to a woman or a non-combative male, such as a member of the clergy. All right, so I'm gonna stop here for now. Next, we're gonna go into the triangle, the diagonal, the zigzag, Ascunaudi, Abraxas, Adinka, Asclepius, Agnus Dei, and Akhet. So we're gonna go through these on the next one, okay? Listen, I might jack up some words as I'm reading this book. You know what my guides tell me? They say, okay, just say it how you feel it. So if I mess up these words, just know I'm just saying it how I feel it. But the deeper meaning is going to come through. So take some time, sit with the symbols, right? Let them talk to you, okay? Follow the one that feels right to you, because even if the connection is not with the symbol, as you deep dive into trying to find out what it is, you might open up the door to something else, or open up the door to something else. And that's when you're going into these 1-2 hour sessions just down the rabbit hole, feeding yourself with information. I think we've all had those moments where you really deep dive into something. And my guides want me to share that the reason that we seemingly just deep dive into the rabbit hole of consciousness is because there's what you know, and then there's what you don't know that you know. And it's a chasm, it's a gap between what you think you know and what you actually know. And what you actually know, you know already, but you're trying to remember it. So there's always this pull to connect the two sides, right? So that they can be joined again. So you can be in complete and total remembrance of yourself. That's the drive you're reaching towards. You're reaching towards wisdom you already have. You're just on the journey trying to remember that you have it. Okay? So take some time with this. Be gentle with this understanding and this learning, and it'll just come naturally. All you got to do is just keep feeding it, right? Just keep showing up, keep trying to understand. If something goes over your head, it doesn't matter. The seed will be planted. And the more you seek wisdom, the more it seeks you. Okay? So I'll see you on the next one. Keep taking care of yourself. Keep learning. Keep putting your magic out there. Thank you to every single person who supports my channel, that shares my videos, that talks about the stuff I post on here. Each one teach one. I'm a student of life myself. I don't know everything. And I never want to know everything, because it's exciting to me to uncover new information and new details about self. So I look forward to learning from you as well. Thank you. Tell me in the comments which symbol ping something in you, ping the remembrance, okay? And then you take your time with that one and explore it beautifully. I love you. Talk to you later.